Good Talk, where our focus is on mind, body, soul, and business. You are now tuning in to Let's Talk About It with your girl Izzy Meditates and your girl Kendra Moore. What's up, Kitty?
What's going on, Izzy? Happy Thursday.
Woo woo! I am so excited that it is almost Friday.
I know, me too. Last week was like a short work week because of the holiday.
Yep.
And this week just felt like, I was like, good Lord, what day is it? It's funny how one day off will like throw the next week. Like you're just like, it was a long week.
There's that celebration of having that 3-day weekend. And you're like on top of the world because you got Thursday night, you got Friday, and or however it goes, and you're like, woo-hoo!
I know. And now reality set in this week, but it's good. It's good. David started school this week. Woo woo!
How's that working out for him? Good.
Good so far. Good so far. So we'll see. It's it's good. It's good. Now all of the I'm just shocked at how crazy it was to get him registered, but it's done. So on to the next challenge.
Yeah. Was he excited? Is he just like ready to
No, girl. He's a teenager. Are you kidding me?
Oh, right. They get bored. I mean, how cool is that to just like move to a totally different state? You know what I mean? Meet new people, experience new things at that age. I think that is awesome.
Yeah, I gave him much credit because I'm like, we moved to a new state and a new city. It's your first time being in such a large public school. Not one person at all.
Right.
And you're starting like 4 weeks late into the school year. Yeah. So, but that's like the beauty of being resilient. Two things I told him was that these are, two things. One thing was these are the moments that you look back on when you are facing a challenge.
Right.
We all have those moments where you can look back on, man, like I persevered this situation. So that means it's in you to do it again. So that's one. And then the second thing was, in my opinion, in order to be successful in life, the key skills are learning to deal with different personalities,
right,
and being adaptable to change.
Yeah.
So those are the two things I think. So, I'm like, you are doing it. And a lot of people, adults, don't even, get to this level. So anyway, that's my mom brag, but I'm proud of them. Huh?
Yeah. Creating new memories.
Yeah, creating new memories and showing your resilience. Yeah. So now the hard work begins, and that's the school work. So
yeah, that's always the fun part. That's
yeah,
the fun part.
Yeah.
I think they'll pretty much be lenient with him starting a little bit later. Cass started about a week late, and we had so much work trying to catch up. You know what I mean? With the 5 different subjects for just a third grader. But I think that people, schools are much more lenient now with the situation, and I hope they completely understand so the kids can just move right in there. And your son's smart; he's super smart like you. He'll be done no time.
Thank you. So I'm excited about our topics.
Yes. I'll let you start it off, girl.
All right. So we have. Should I go ahead and run down the topics?
Yes.
Just so people know what we're going to talk about. All right. So we're going to talk about a few topics. One being how people feel about having kids in the midst of climate change. That to me is really, really interesting. It could be somewhat controversial, depending on your opinion on the matter.
Right.
The other topic we're going to talk about is how lawmakers are investigating Instagram because they want to come out with this teen Instagram app, but all the studies are showing how toxic that is to teen girls.
Right.
So we can talk about that. And then the last juicy topic, because I love a juicy topic, and it's one of these topics that everyone is talking about. And this is Gabrielle Union opening up about the trauma of her husband now, Dwayne Wade, fathering a child with another woman. Yeah. So that's not, we're not going to talk about that in terms of a gossip, but just the whole dynamics of being in a situation like that, where you feel betrayed, and do you leave? Do you stay? All that stuff. So those are the topics that we're going to talk about. So which one you want to start with?
Let's start with the first one, the very first
All right. So let's start with the climate change, because climate change has been a huge topic on the news, from the fires to the hurricanes and, the droughts and all this stuff that's happening. And so a study was done, an international poll of 10,000 young adults, and they feel like they have been betrayed by their elder generation when it comes to managing climate change. So they have a lot of anxiety around climate change. And at the end of the day, they're not sure if they want to even have kids. They feel like it would be irresponsible of them to have kids, knowing that, or at least feeling, because I know people have different perspectives on this topic, but feeling that, climate change is going to be such a detriment to the world. So about 75% of those aged 16 to 25 agreed with the statement, "The future is frightening." 60% said they are very or extremely worried about climate change. 50% believe they have fewer opportunities than their parents at their age. And 40% are hesitant to become parents out of fear that they'll bring a child into a sun-scorched, voided wasteland. That's deep.
That is really deep. Yeah, that's really deep. And it's so funny when you mention that topic. I hadn't thought about this for a while, and then out of the blue, it popped in my head, and I was like, "Oh my goodness! One day I'm not going to be here with my kids." And as things are progressing in that manner towards global warming, how are they going to handle it?
Right. Yeah.
And then I started to go off and say, wow, I don't want to leave them in something like this. And then I started to go off and say, I love them, but what if I wouldn't have kids? And then they wouldn't have to be forced to deal with what's going on. And then my brain went off to something else and said, you know what? They may be able to create change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But in that 5-minute window from one light to another, that had gone through my head. And it was just like, I was thinking, like, if I were to experience this pandemic, and that's how it began, without children, I think it would be easier for me. But because I'm trying to protect them, it's difficult for me to, Mama Bear wants to always keep her cubs close, but they have to grow up. So that's where the global warming thing came in. And I was just like, oh, so I can understand.
Yeah, it's tough because, when you are that young,
right,
because it's hard to imagine a way out of the difficult situation. But you're right. I mean, there's like the technology advancements nowadays, and all of these types of things, they could solve it. But not but. It's interesting around here because I'm in Orlando. And when I would come visit my parents and driving, kind of like towards a different part close to Orlando, you would pass by these orange grove trees. Groves of orange trees growing, right?
Yeah.
Now that's all down, all cut down, being replaced with developments, apartments and shopping centers. And so, it makes it real tangible in terms of what in the world is going to happen with like our food source, for example.
Yeah.
If we keep like building, despite all the other stuff that happened. So that for me was something that made it real. Now, whether or not I would not have kids if I didn't have one, and thinking about climate change and all that, I don't know. I don't know. It would be hard for me to say no, but I understand the thought.
Yeah.
I do understand the thought.
I don't think I've ever really thought about it until after the pandemic, because I don't know. I think the pandemic put in reality that poop can happen like real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We could have put it further down the road. I'm like, but now it's a reality, and it's like, okay, well, these things are getting really close. How are my kids are going to handle it? Like, what should I do to prepare them for
Yeah.
this change that will
Yeah.
occur? It's
Yeah.
just a matter of time as to when it will occur. Um, and what skills do I need to give them? I started thinking along that. But if I did not have children, and the pandemic occurred, I probably would have that same thought, because I
Yeah,
think it
like
just
should
would
you?
be, I don't want to put, you don't want to give birth to something that's going to just go through a struggle. But then again, it's that battle of, well, maybe they can contribute to help. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really is.
Maybe your child is the one that solves some, major problem. Like
Right.
we never know.
Right.
Um, and then now I'm thinking about, like, our parents and our grandparents that were going through the trials of, segregation and all of
Right.
that. There are these big moments in history where the world seems very chaotic.
Uh-huh.
You got like the Cold War and all that stuff that went down. And so I'm sure it's not I can't imagine that people back then didn't have the same thoughts
And they made it
around
through.
should we have kids or shouldn't. So, and I want the audience to chime in. So let us know. We have some comments, but I'm interested in your thoughts as well. But let's get to the comments real quick.
Oh, sure. We have Charles Brakely. Says, good evening, ladies. Hi,
Good
Charles. How
evening,
are
Charles.
you? Charles says, he'll be fine. He's talking
Thank
about your
you. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Breon. Breon Nichols is in the house. He says,
What's
what's up,
up?
Queens?
Thank you for
Charles,
joining us always.
thank you. Charles says, everything is changing now. We are having events such as tornadoes, earthquakes in areas where it used to be rare and never heard of. I know that's right.
Yeah.
We had a tornado here. Tyrone Ricks says, oh, hey, Tyrone. The 10 of Life has tuned in. Thank you.
What's up, Ty?
Thank you for tuning in. Tyrone says, good evening, Izzy Meditates and Kendra Moore. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in, as always.
Aw, I love my Feel Good Talk
we love
family.
you back.
And then he says, good evening, Brother Charles. Charles Breckley says, I think as a human race, we will adjust, but we are the problems to a lot of the problems that we are having. It's true.
Yeah.
It totally is true. We had an earthquake here. I don't remember what year it was. Freaked me out. I'm at work. I'm on the phone, and the whole entire office started shaking. And I'm on with the patient, and the patient's like, did you feel that? I was like, yeah, I felt that. Well, I forget what magnitude it was, but it was enough to put a little crack in the side of my house and to destroy one of the restaurants downtown. And, where I live, no one never knows where these places are, but it's near the Blue Ridge Mountains. So it was a shock to have that. And I've been in Virginia since 1998, and the tornadoes are becoming worse and worse every single year. They're always bigger, more to places like you wouldn't believe, like Maryland or DC or Delaware even.
Yeah.
I was shocked to see one there. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it is. And I think the other thing too, like they feel like, so again, for you guys who are just tuning in, we're talking about this study where they were talking about how younger people feel about the future, basically, as it relates to climate change, and how they're really debating about having kids even. And it's interesting to me that 50% believe they have fewer opportunities than their parents at their age. And that's the other thing where I'm like, really? Because with the advent of technology and people can work from home, it feels so much easier to start your own business, than it has in the past. So I don't know. It's almost like, are they being wimps?
Right. But think about it, because I haven't thought about it with my business. I mean, if things aren't well for the earth and things aren't well for us, because if the earth is not well, then we're not well, and all these diseases pipe up and they affect the economy, then even if you have a business at home, it's going to be a challenge to even
Yeah.
to work that business. Like the bigger companies, they have all these different techniques and ins and outs that they can, help their business survive. Whereas though the small business is already struggling as it is. So I can see
Yeah.
where they would think something like that. Because I was like, wow, pandemic's here. This is terrible, but we're going to make it through. And it's creating so many opportunities. But as the economy goes up and down and up and down, it
Right.
affects our business because people don't have the money to spend with a small business, let alone with a large business.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So that is the climate one. And to your point, there is a quote here by UNICEF that says climate and environmental shocks are undermining the complete spectrum of children's rights, from access to clean air, food, and safe water to education, housing, freedom from exploitation, and even their right to survive. Virtually no child's life will be unaffected. So
Wow.
that's a pretty strong statement. But honestly, I think about climate change. It hasn't, I think for minority communities, we've largely experienced climate change before there was such a thing, because in a lot of minority communities, that's where they're putting all of the chemical plants that's spewing out all of the smoke, the trash heaps, all these industrial places are usually adjacent to minority communities. And there have been studies done where in these communities, they have higher rates of cancer, higher rates of respiratory issues, etc. So it's, this is not a new thing for us in terms of a climate being, affecting the way that we live, the way that we live.
Yeah.
But,
I remember, I mean, it's not climate per se. I just remember when I was coming up, there was a bunch of issues with asbestos being in the buildings. And I remember being terrified, like, knowing that they were digging out the walls and it would like be in the air. But I know that's completely like different and off the wall. But that's what I remember in the inner city. And I remember also lead poison. And was it, if it was in the water, wasn't
in
it
the
in the
paint,
water?
in the water
Right.
and the paint. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember that going through that phase. I can't remember how old I was, and just being like terrified of the walls. And like, dude, I was like, dude, when I buy a house, I'm gonna make sure my walls don't have whatever those walls were. I don't know what they were made of.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I don't know. I don't know what much. I think more of us need to get involved, and minorities get involved in climate change things, and and I'm not saying that people don't, but like protesting certain things coming into the communities, because it has a huge health impact. And then also on the flip side, I saw I think it was a couple of weeks ago, they're starting to put solar panels for energy and stuff into I would say more like urban communities.
Oh, nice.
Because they're not benefiting from technology in terms of like cost savings and energy efficiency. So it's actually a Black lady, and I forget her name, but she is championing this from her own company and going to places. And it's funny because she said there's a lot of convincing that she has to do with the people in the community, but for those who are willing, I think they clear out like a field and put solar panels down, and then they have those extra cost savings. So, we just have to get more educated and take more of an interest.
Serious. And it even starts at home. Like today I had this long lecture with Cass. We have plastic cups. I don't like plastic cups, but we have them. And she'll get a plastic cup in the morning. Next thing you know, there's a plastic cup in the afternoon. Next thing you know, there's a plastic cup, and there's water bottles all over the place. And so I bought her like one of these cool cups where she can rinse out and use. And they're expensive. You know what I mean? Like, so I said, Cass, this is what you do. You fill it with your juice, your water, you rinse it out every night. And I said, this is helping the earth. This is helping the earth, not for me, because I probably won't be here, but it's for you.
Yeah.
It's helping you later in life. So please recycle the plastic if you have to use it, or just refrain from using it at all, because you can put water in this from the sink or from the actual refrigerator, and just carry your cup with you.
Yeah.
And then that way we don't use 5 or 6 cups. They start to add up and they're not
Yeah.
going anywhere. They're always going to be here on earth as long as we use them. And when I go to stores, I try to like, when they offer me a plastic bag, I say no. I carry it out in my hand, or I bring my own recycle bag, just small
Right.
things. I remember when we first started doing this, at first it was difficult to remember to put the plastics and the papers inside the recycle bin.
Right. Now it's second habit, right?
I know, right?
Well, let's get some comments, and then I want to move on to our second topic, because the third topic is juicy, and I know that one's we're gonna have a lot to say.
Charles Brinkley says they just had an earthquake in North Carolina. Really?
Oh wow,
that's insane.
That is insane.
And then he says, "True, Kendra." I always have I can't remember. Oh, Tamara says, "Hello, ladies." Hi.
Hey, Tamara, thank you for joining. All right. So, okay, so I'm gonna get to the second topic. Oh, one other thing I was gonna say is freaking litter. And I am sorry, that is my pet peeve when people litter. Oh, and some of our communities, I'm just gonna say, we need to do better.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Pick up your trash.
Yeah.
Because that's
back home. I always remember there being like a lot of trash, and all I remember is this big thing coming around and cleaning the street. I was fascinated with the thing that would clean the street, but then in the parks and other areas was a lot of litter and like stuff on the streets. Even it's just in the city areas that I've always visited. But when I moved to Virginia, I noticed that they have a system in cleaning. And I'm not certain if they have people who are doing community service because they've committed some type of crime, or who these people are on the side of the roads, but that's how they keep it clean. Everyone it's like once a month, I see them out and they pick up all the trash in the woods, on the streets, near the pavements.
Yeah.
And we don't have those trucks come by and wash the street as much, but we don't have a lot of trash because they make sure. Yeah.
My parents' community, I love it because their community has a bunch of suburbs kind of together. Not suburbs, but like, the different housing things kind of together. But they actually, you'll see a lot of the people that live here pick up trash off. And I'm not just talking about in their yard, like they'll get those grabber things. Yeah. And you'll see them on the road that's going out to the main road from the development. And they're out there, husband and wife. My mom does it. My dad was doing it, and just pick up the trash, because it's like everyone needs to be responsible for keeping, the area clean. But I can just
and taking pride in your community.
It is taking pride in your community. Right. Charles Brinkley has something that is to this point.
Charles Brinkley says, yes, I can't stand when a trash can is right there and they throw the trash on the ground. That makes me so mad when I see this. Yeah. No, my kids, they know better. They better not do that. And another thing I'm on their case about is if we go in the store and they move something, and then they're like, oh, I'm not going to go back down that aisle. I said, no. You're going to go right back down the aisle, and you're going to put it right back where you get it.
Well, I'm not going to say nothing on that one.
I'm just going to take a sip of your drink.
Yeah, I'm going to take a sip of my drink on that one.
Okay.
But yeah, that's great, Izzy. That is great. Okay, so let's move to the second topic so we can get to the third topic. The second topic is, so lawmakers demand answers from Mark Zuckerberg after investigation finds Instagram is toxic for teen girls. So the Wall Street Journal did a study and found that Instagram had negative impacts on some teens' mental health. And a group of Democrats sent a letter to Mark Zuckerberg asking him to abandon his plans for a version of Instagram aimed at kids. Yeah. So, I mean, that's not a new thing. 32% of teen girls said Instagram made them feel even worse when they were feeling bad about their bodies.
Right. And I think it goes according to, I don't know if that's a part of the algorithm. So whatever you search for, that's what they always bring up. So right now, when I'm on Instagram, if I go to the little search button, there's dogs, there's healthy food, and there's people that work out. And so I'm constantly seeing these perfected bodies, which are, and I'm an adult. And even sometimes I feel some kind of way. I'm like, dang, I need to do a little bit more sit-ups and lay off them bagels.
Right, right.
So for a child or a teenager whose brain is developing, I think it's tough for them. I think an app would be awesome if they maintained it correctly. But I also think that family and parents need to be involved and make sure that they are aware of what their children are watching. And there's absolutely, positively, unless Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media comes out there with some type of safeguard to get the creepers out. The creepers are out. First they were regular creepers, and then they came in robot form. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing that scares me is that, I mean, to have it exactly for kids, I feel like you're going to invite like people who want to target kids because they know how to fake, algorithms and all of this kind of stuff. So how are you going to have them sign up? Put in your birth date. Okay, well, anybody can put that in. The other interesting thing is that apparently there's a Facebook whistleblower who said that Facebook already knew this. Like they already knew, and they already had data that said how toxic social media is, which we've all been hearing about it for, kids and stuff, but yet they continue to develop this, this app. So, it's kind of, we got to be careful too, for the sake of convenience and social stuff. These companies, they don't care about your kids.
Right.
Really and truly,
To like, for Cass has Kids Messenger, and I signed her up for Kids Messenger because I knew I wasn't sending her back to school until everything died down. And so this is her only way besides Duo to talk to her friends. And girlfriend is social. She got friends. They call on the phone. They talk. They're laughing. However, whoever wants to become her friend, I have to approve it. So it comes to me first. And so they could do that. But however, it might be a little bit harder for a teen because, they're not going to want you to know who they're being friends with. But that's the only way she can be friends. Now, her Instagram page, as far as me marketing her, it's never open. It's private. And so whoever wants to join that page, you have to come through me to actually see. That's the only way that I can handle it. But it's going to be difficult with teens because they want that freedom. They're not going to want their parents. So if that happens, then they're not going to want to be on that app because they can go on TikTok.
Yeah.
And like TikTok is just like, it's
the number one. It's the number one social media app right now.
Yeah, but it's so much influence on our kids and so much influence on just even us as adults. So
yeah,
I think it's a good idea, but then I don't think they're going to be able to handle it. They can't even handle keeping the creepers off of my Facebook page.
You were saying that, and and it's interesting because I don't get creepers. I get people who want to do like sell me cryptocurrency or or kind of like that kind of stuff. But I've honestly never gotten a creeper, not like the pure definition of the word. So
I know they're creepers because they have 0 posts or they have minimal posts. And then they begin to have, if you check their friends are like whack. It doesn't even go in sync with what they're posting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they've gotten worse over like the last couple of months. And so that's my big thing. I mean, but honestly, with having TikTok and having Facebook, Lord knows what the kids have seen.
Yeah. Oh, girl, she's out. Yeah, they've already seen it. They have seen it all. They can probably teach us more than a few things.
Yeah. And I didn't realize this until the rapper XXXTentacion had passed away.
Yeah.
My son was like quiet. I couldn't find him like anywhere. And I knew he had passed, but I didn't mention it. Well, no need for me to mention it because they had shown like pictures of him slumped in his car.
Yeah.
Like, passed away. And it broke my son's heart. And I was just like, how can I can't really control that.
Yeah.
Because he's a teenager. He's going to Google. They just have so much exposure. I think the only thing that we can do as parents is to sit them down and explain to them.
Yeah.
What's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. And I think too, having our kids be more emotionally resilient.
Right.
You have to have them be more emotionally resilient and teach them about critical thinking.
Right.
Because I don't think the schools aren't really teaching them critical thinking. It's just kind of like, well, learn 1 + 1 is 2. That's what it is. So let's go. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's the
Right.
answer. And so, everyone just wants the answer, but no one wants to think through why that is the answer, or is that even the answer? So
Right.
I think teaching them critical thinking and emotional resilience, and that's us as adults, but it's, should be, you would think, easier as kids if they're already kind of groomed in that way.
Right.
So
Right.
that's what I think. We got a couple of comments.
Let's see. Charles Berkeley says that's society in general. Everything is superficial.
Yeah, it
And you
sure
are
seems that
right.
way.
You got that right. Charles Buckley says TikTok is definitely changing.
Yeah.
TikTok is off the chain. It's funny, but it's
You can lose a lot of hours.
some of that stuff has me crying. Charles Blakely says that's why I don't think a child should have a phone. Oh, please, yes, that's another topic. Until they are in their late teens or working and able to afford one. To many influences. Yeah, I I've struggled with that because, and it's so crazy because my kids are 10 years apart. So I got Caleb. Caleb didn't get a phone until I needed to contact him, and he was catching a bus to school. And I
Right.
was really strict with electronics. Cass comes along, and it's a thing. It's
Yeah.
a fad. It's a thing. So we gave her like an extra phone, and then it was like, no, mommy, I want a newer phone, and so then I got her a phone, and I was just like, this, it may not be a good idea, but I want her to stay connected. And it's all because of COVID. She doesn't have the chance to go out and be with her friends like she
Right.
usually does. So we use that. And then I can't always give her my phone so she can talk to her friends because I work from my phone. Sorry, this gnat is driving me nuts. I hate gnats and I hate fruit flies. And that's what happens when you live in the country. They just all over the place. But yeah, and I realized that I couldn't let her have my phone because I was too busy working. But I do agree with Charles. I really didn't want to do that. And then her father was like, "Yeah, you really should, give her her phone." And so, of course, she's the baby, and he got her this brand new. Her Samsung is better than mine. But Charles says you have kids that are 3 years old with phones. Shaking my head. I
Yeah.
know because Charles, giving a child a phone is the babysitter, especially
Yeah.
if
At
you're
that age.
in a
Yeah. Yeah.
predicament where you work from home, you're an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, or you just need a break.
Yeah. Put on
And
Blues Clues and call it a day.
I know that's right. They're happy, you're happy. And I
I
can't
know.
say that I haven't been guilty of that in the past when I had like some things to do. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. So let's move to our third topic.
oh, yes.
So, because everyone's talking about this, so I wanted to bring it forth, and that is Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. So, Gabrielle Union, she, has a book out called You Got Anything Stronger? And in that book, she talks about when Dwayne Wade had a baby with another woman when they were broken up. So, and during a break in their relationship. Okay, so of course they're married now and have been working on their relationship. But here's how she felt. So she said in 2013, before we were married, Dwayne had a baby with another woman. It should go without saying that we were not in a good place in our relationship at that time the child was conceived. But we were in a much better place when he finally told me about the pregnancy. To say that I was devastated is to pick a word on a low shelf for convenience. There are people, strangers who I will never meet, who have been upset that I haven't previously talked about the trauma. I have not had words, and even after untold amounts of therapy, I am not sure I have them now, but truth matters.
Right.
So that's one. Okay. And then she says the experience of Dwayne having a baby so easily while I was unable to, because, she's been very vocal about not being able to, have kids. left my soul not broken into pieces, but just shattered into fine dust scattering in the wind.
Right.
So they said that they've gathered what they've can in terms of their relationship to create something new. And yeah, so a living contradiction of being solid but still broken, stronger and yet painfully delicate. So anyway, so that's a lot. And in other media, you know, what she talked about was one of the reasons why she didn't leave. In her memoir, she talks about it is because she wasn't confident. You know, she said, you know, one was the pressure, not pressure, but it was like she was afraid of what other people would think, you know, if she left. And then the other thing she said, which I found very interesting, is that the her today would not have stayed in that situation. You know what I mean? So that kind of speaks to where she was just, you know, being confident in herself versus who she is now.
Yeah.
So what are your
Let me ask
thoughts
you
on
this.
that? Yeah.
She didn't find out until after she got married that he had this child.
I think they were engaged.
They were engaged at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's tough. And I feel her pain. But a part of me is like they were split. One party's mad at the other party's mad at the other. They're saying this and saying that, and they split and they kind of did their thing and they came back. But it doesn't, girl, I'm gonna kill this gnat. It doesn't. He's like all up in my space.
He's trying to get on the show.
Listen, it doesn't take away the sting, especially when I read that she was having problems trying to have kids, right?
Yep.
So that right there is just like for a woman, it's a crusher. I felt that. It was like, dude, you know, here I am doing the best that I can to be in this relationship, and I want to have a baby, and she just had it, boom. And now, so I feel that, like, I feel the pain from that. But I think there's growth in a relationship if they're both able to forgive and not forget. And I've been learning a lot about that.
They got a baby somewhere, so there's no forgetting that.
Yeah.
There's a baby. Listen, I understand that they were on a break, right? Like, I get that. But so let's say this. So we were dating, then we got engaged, then we decided to break out, and then 5 minutes later, you're having a baby with somebody else. You know what that means? That means you had her on speed dial this whole time.
I knew you were going to say that. That's not necessarily true, though.
What that means? That means as soon as your foot hit the driveway, you were all like, do, 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 do. Let's go. That's what that means.
I don't think that. I mean, he could have just been like, you know what? Well, she don't want to deal with me, so I'm gonna deal with this. I'm gonna go over here. And what basically all it boils down to, because I wanted to say something, and I hope I can remember it because I forgot to write it down. Men and women are given this image of love. We've been conditioned to see, believe, and think that it's supposed to be a certain way when it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so in her head and in his head, they think it's supposed to be a way. They break up, they split, they come back. I think that if they continue with therapy and if they continue to communicate, and if she has boundaries and he has boundaries, that they can continue to move forward. That's what I think. But I think that for women, most of us think that, he's going to be faithful and love me, and he's going to take me away, and he's going to spoil me. Love don't look nothing like that.
I agree.
And it's nice for the first 3 months, but after that, it's done. And the real stuff start hitting the fan.
I agree. And I mean, it can be, yeah, my thing is like, my heart would break, of course, because like you said, like I couldn't have a child. And now it's like for the rest of my life, I have to live with this reminder of what happened. And that's probably your first reaction. But then with therapy and all of those kinds of things, I'm sure you can, get past, or not get past it, but understand. And I think that's the thing. Like, I'm saying it, being all hard, but at the end of the day, if two people want something to work, and they're willing to put in the work, it will work.
Yeah.
No matter what trauma or situation that comes through. But the part that I found interesting is that, she said that the her today would not have stayed. And I think that that's a lot to do with probably women and men, but I can only speak from a woman's perspective, and that is the lack of self-confidence when you're in a relationship. Especially, I can imagine her being in a relationship with a superstar. He's not a bad looking dude, right? And so you kind of feel like, I wonder, even with her being Gabrielle Union, if she felt kind of chosen. You know what I mean? Because us women, we can feel like that, kind of like, oh, well, he chose me. So,
right. I was watching this thing, and the young lady was saying that cheating has nothing to do with you. It's on that person, whatever they do. If you want to consider this cheating because, they kind of like split up or whatever, but it has nothing to do with you. And I think that if the couple takes responsibility in their way and they realize that it's something that's going on with her, it's something that's going on with them, and not to blame. And I want to say this too. Every time a superstar, female, gorgeous, I think Halle Berry was one of the first of them. When I find out that their man like cheats, I'm like, dude,
yeah.
what the heck is going on here? You know what I mean? Like, really? Like, why? Not just with the looks, but just with everything that's going on. And I mean, I don't know her personally, but that used to be my thought. But when you look at it from a perspective that it's not her, it's him. I mean, there could be things that he could be missing or she could be missing, because women cheat too. You know what I mean? And they're looking for that specific thing. But for me, I realized that I'm never going to find that in anybody.
Not everything. Not everything.
Not any of it.
What? Izzy, you don't think you're going to find anything?
No. I feel like that individual in the relationship is that individual. I'm my individual person. We come together. We bring together, and I expect nothing. I've learned that in my older age, because if I expect it and it doesn't happen, then there's a disappointment. So I don't expect anything. So when it does happen, then I'm like, oh, great, that's nice. But I don't expect you. I think that in my past relationships, I've expected a certain thing. And that, again, seeing my parents, old school, they've been together since middle school. My dad is the breadwinner. My mom works. They work together. He does everything. He pays for everything. You know what I mean? Like, and then there came to a point where after she took care of us, they worked together. But I don't think that it should be like that now. And I think we got in a conversation with Chuck before, like that long, drawn out conversation. But I think relationships has evolved to something completely different. And the younger me would have not gotten in any relationship at all. And right now I would be in a monastery somewhere meditating.
Yeah, but you don't know that, because the thing is, like, I feel like the situations that we've gone through is what makes us like for me, all of the past relationships that I've had has kind of taught me more about myself.
Right.
Than anything. So now I'm at a place where I've learned so much. Not saying I've been in a whole bunch of relationships, but I have learned so much, but you know what I mean? Like, I have really taken the time to kind of really understand, well, what was it that attracted me to this person? Or how did I communicate? And I think the hard part is doing the work yourself instead of placing blame on the other person. And I feel like they, in this situation, it sounds like Gabrielle and Dwayne, like, they are doing the work, probably to your point, with themselves first, right? And then seeing if they can salvage something. And it seems like it's working. Now we got a whole bunch of comments, so I don't want to okay, so let's go. Tyrone says,
I agree. Thank you. I don't remember what part that was. 90 days. Oh yeah, I know that's right. No, I'm serious. It's kind of like, right after about 3-month mark, 4-month mark, you start to see like the real thing come out. And you either like it or you don't. I think that you should go with your gut, and if you don't, split. Tyrone Rick says facts, Kendra.
Thank you, Tyrone.
Charles Breckley says if they really want it to work and she's willing to forgive him, then all the best for them.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
And then Charles Berkeley said, cheating is not the number one reason that couples split. Believe it or not, it's finances.
Yeah, it is. Yep, 100% finances.
Charles says, looks only last for a short period of time. I know. Yeah. It gets so deep when I think about that. And like he said, the cheating is not the issue. When you go to any kind of therapy, you realize that the cheating comes from the person being upset about the finances or being upset that they were disrespected and then finding somebody where they were respected or you know what I mean? So it's really not the underlying issue. But Tyrone again says facts, Izzy meditates. Great show. Thank you, Tyrone. Thank you. Charles Brickley says, you're right, Izzy. We have women proposing to men. I know. It's so weird. Every time I see that, I'm like, dude, don't do that. Don't.
I know. Me too. Me too. I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Know. Like, it's just completely different. And people are waiting later to get married, or they're not even getting. Charles said, man, babies.
Okay. Okay.
Throwing baby
right. Calm down. Calm down, Chuck.
I just don't think that people are like living together now for longer before they get married, having like 10 kids, then getting married, kids in college.
No.
Popping up on Facebook. I'm like, what? I thought y'all was married already.
We are not having no 10 kids, and I'm not married. Heck no. That's so crazy. It's crazy to me when conversations I've seen this where couples that are dating and their conversations start with having a baby first. Right. Like that to me blows my mind versus getting married first.
Yeah. And I'm so old school.
What?
When it comes to that. Yeah. But I also see and understand, and I'm open to the idea of people wanting to know each other first before they tie the knot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree.
You're not going to get it in 3 months. You're not going to get whatever you feel. If it takes you 3 years, but I don't think it should take you 10 years and 4 kids or 5 kids later. I feel like, and when I was in a dating situation, I used to be like, dude, listen, it's not going to work because we on like a year and 20, you know what I mean? 15 months now. So
listen, on my first date, I know whether or not you got a chance.
I know that's right.
That's like, you know what I mean? But I think that's most people, like by the third date, I'm kind of like, okay, right. I understand people can be fake for a long time. And they actually say the honeymoon period for dating scientifically lasts for 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's 2 years. And most people, again, statistically, they get married after 2 years.
Yeah.
So, and so that causes the friction because if the honeymoon period is still on, most people get married after 2 years. Then you go into that 3rd, 4th, 5th year, to your point. Then you start seeing new things and you're like, oh, well, you've changed. Well, no, you just didn't know,
Right. So this is my question. And I was, I'm like, okay, since we're jumping into this, fellas, ladies, do you think a person can be faithful to their significant other forever? Now, we're not talking about just because now there's emotional cheating where you do things on, you know what I mean, online and things like that. So can a person be faithful that long? And if you're married on year 10, are you like, dude, I'm bored of this? Like how do you keep it together? And do you think a person can stay faithful that long?
Girl. Let's go to the comments real quick.
I'm gonna get a drink. And then, okay, let me get into this too, because I forgot that too. I don't think that people who are in the limelight can stay faithful. That's my personal opinion.
That's hard. Yeah.
And I'm going to say that because just think if people find you attractive and they push up on you in regular life, imagine that 1,000 times worse because you got money, you're gorgeous, you know,
people throwing themselves at you all the time. All you need is time and opportunity and a reason.
Yeah. And they do not quit. They will go after. I remember going to basketball games and just seeing like groupies like parked.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
waiting for
the
the basketball players. So Tamara Lolly says it's too much to say about this.
Oh, that's right, girlfriend. That's a whole topic on its own. Go ahead.
If this happened during a split, then he didn't cheat. That's what I think. But unless they made an agreement to work on each other. If she was told while they were engaged, that's when you be real with yourself. I think he should have just told her before they even got engaged.
Yeah, honestly. And I agree. I don't think that it is cheating because they were on a split, but I still think it's heartbreaking.
Yeah,
you know, for her. But I agree with you.
Since she had a hard time. Tamara Lolly says, yes, they can, and it works. Like I've always wanted to sit down, you know, not with my parents, because I would be biased with that. With another couple that's been married forever and like pick their brain. Charles Berkeley says, can you stay faithful as long as the communication stays open?
I agree.
Yeah. Charles Berkeley says, yes, not cheating.
I don't know what that was referencing. But so you have to tell us a little bit more, Chuck. But I agree with Tamara. Yes, it can. I think it can happen. I think it is work. I think you have to. I mean, it's just like anything else. People stay on their jobs for freaking, 20-something years, and they don't, just jump ship when they have a hard day. You know what I mean? But I think the dynamic is Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle. Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, not cheating. Got it. But I think it is, I think it's doable. I think it's work. I think the communication is key. I think both people have to want it. And then I think you should be with somebody who you have fun with. Right. You know what I mean? Like be with someone who you enjoy their company, who you want to do things with. Like don't have it be like a transactional type of relationship. Well, you pay the bills, you raise the kids, and that's kind of all that it's about, Yeah. So
I've seen couples that I thought would be together forever just split. And I'd be devastated for them. Like, wow, like I wanna know what happened. Like, how in the world? Yeah. I never forget when Patti LaBelle split with her husband. Because I'm thinking when you're with someone, we're not talking about like everyday people. I'm talking about like, superstars. You've been with that person since day one. They know you in and out. And you've grew to this thing with them. And then boom, all of a sudden, y'all break up. And then I'm thinking, well, how can you get another relationship with another person and trust them? Because now you're not the same person you were when you started off.
Right.
So how are you going to trust that person and not know that they don't have some type of intention? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because now you're starting from like your celebrity status.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I would just be single. If I was superstar, I'd be like Oprah.
Oh, you are a superstar. Let's see what some comments. We have some comments there. But I think too, like you never know what's going on in anyone's relationship.
I know, right? You have to be best friends and enjoy each other.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Hey, William Dickerson says a lot of faithful, good relationships are out here. However, cheating is more glorified. Like most things, negatively gets more publicity.
I 100% agree. We'll come back to that comment.
Tamara Lolly says, I believe they can because it's been done. You have to have a relationship with each other and not let Hollywood dictate your relationship. That's tough. If you're in the limelight all the time and everybody got something to say.
But you know who I think of, a couple who I absolutely love and adored, and they were together forever, and that is Iman and David Bowie.
Uh-huh. Did they split? They were still together.
He passed away. So now but they were together ever. But the one thing with them is that they were not out in the limelight. You didn't see them, like they were very chill. You may see them at like events together, like a photo op or something, but that wasn't like it felt like they just kind of pulled back,
Right.
and lived a regular life and then came out and did the flash stuff when they needed to and then came back. So
Yeah.
so I think that's a big thing. But I do want to get back to Charles got another good one, a good couple. My favorite, yes. Denzel Washington and
I
his
remember
wife.
that.
Yo, if I was with Denzel, I will be together forever too.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Brian McKnight too, right?
I ain't going nowhere.
I don't know why y'all think that man is. He's okay.
Girl, don't make me come through this TV. I choke you.
He all right.
What? Ooh, okay. Let's go to Will's comment before this whole show gets broken up. I cannot.
What was William say? William says a lot of faithful, good relationships are out here. However, cheating is more glorified. Oh yeah, he says, like most things, negatively gets more publicity. So negativity gets more publicity.
Yeah, I think that's 100% true.
Yeah,
because I do feel the cheating is more glorified because it just seems like even if you listen to the music, like I can get your man, or I can get your girl, and
right.
like that whole thing, it's almost like this whole competition thing is glorified. Taking something from somebody else is glorified. Right. So I agree, and unfortunately, it would be good if you guys know of a couple that has a long-lasting relationship. Right. We would love to get them on the show and talk about this.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like
yeah,
I'm talking
seriously,
40 years plus at least.
Because the thing is that when you don't see it, you don't think it's possible, and that's with everything.
Yeah,
right.
Like I say it's possible with my parents. I just don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
I always tell my dad, I'm like, dude, I am not your mom. I don't know where y'all came from or what y'all did. And they're together.
Well, you don't know that. If you get in the relationship with the right person, then next minute, that's a wrap.
They accept each other for what they are.
Yeah.
They don't try to change each other. You know what I mean? Like there may be things that, my mom doesn't like about my dad, and maybe things that my dad don't like about my mom. But they accept that, and that's just them, and they move on. Whereas I think sometimes we try to change.
Yeah.
Even I see with people, I've had friends that are just trying to change him. I'm like, dude, he is what he is.
Especially after a certain age. I mean, come on. Now, right? I'm like, I don't invest in potential. Either you have it or you don't. What am I waiting for?
She's like, next.
Yeah, no, but I'm serious. And the same thing goes for someone, who would be kind of, considering me, like I am who I am.
Right.
Yeah. Don't expect me to be somebody else, because that's just not going to happen. So.
And that's the power of it, and not to get offended from every single thing. You know what I mean? I've seen couples where I've seen them flow and just be like, wow. Like been in their presence, and that they got it. Not that it's perfect. Of course, people are gonna disagree, but they got that thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
One of David's school best friends, I'd love being around his parents, because his parents were like that. Like you could just tell that they were friends. You know what I mean? Like they loved each other, but they were friends, and it made being around them so enjoyable.
Yeah.
When you can just see it and you can feel it, and you're just like, man, that's so cool.
I know, right? I love that. We have not gone to commercial break. I think we should go.
Oh yeah, let's do a commercial break.
Comments after that.
Yep.
We are back, my friends. That is the A Game. It is a supplement that is made for men and it helps with energy and also with your immune system. So if you are in need of this supplement, be sure to reach out to Charles Blakely. I have to do it. 2 or 3. How you
2 or 3 samples left. So
Make
y'all
sure you
better.
get your samples. Listen, with
Yes.
everything going on, boosting the immune system is
Yes.
important. And if since we talking about relationships, you might need that little spark in your love life.
That's
Get
right.
you some of that.
Boost the immune system and everything else.
I know, right? Oh my god! Don't stay. You gonna make my makeup mess up, girl.
Sorry.
Charles Beckley says exactly, Kendra. The hell with potential. William Dickerson says any guy that tries to change either you is an idiot. They don't make them like y'all anymore. Aw.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Oh, guys, I loved all our topics today. So before we leave out, I want to let you know that you can always connect with us on LinkedIn at Feel Good Talk, Facebook at Feel Good Talk, YouTube at FGT Mind, Body, Soul, and Business. We also have Instagram at feel.goodtalk, and you can email us at feelgoodtalk113@gmail.com. We also have a website in which you can buy our merch. It's www.feelgoodtalk.net. So be sure to check that out so you can represent us with a hat or a shirt. If you do, tag us in it. I want to see you in this cute.
Yes. And I think it's also important to support positive media.
Yes.
I always say that because everybody is walking around with all this other stuff on that's not really contributing to the growth of society.
Right.
Now I sound like an old woman, but yeah, support positive media, you guys.
Yes, please. We love you. Thank you for tuning in and always supporting us. We love hanging out with you on Thursdays. Be sure to hook up with us next Thursday at 7 p.m. We'll have a different topic. If you're interested in appearing on the show, you can reach out to Kendra or myself or Chuck. And if you'd like to be a sponsor, be sure to do that. We have a nice reach. So you be able to showcase your business on our platform. So be sure 100%. To do that. And we love you guys so much.
But before we go, we do have another comment. We have a couple of comments. So I don't want anyone to feel slighted.
William Dickerson says a lot of unions created through lust are often misconstrued as being relationships.
Whoa.
I know that's right.
That is a mic drop.
They need to print that on a t-shirt. That first line on the front and the rest of it on the back.
So true.
Tamara says good conversations. Thank you, Tamara.
Thank you for joining us. So we'll see you guys next Thursday.
Yeah.
And again, if you want to be a sponsor, be on the show, make sure you share this with someone. So you never know what was said that might touch somebody or bring insight into them. But until then, we love you guys. And we will see you. You got it, Izzy? Girl, what happened? Oh, there you go.